Hi everyone, it's Nick. I received an order from one of my regular clients to make 2 cutting boards. The main requirement was to replace their current plastic boards because, as we all know, plastic boards are terrible. The goal is to make the boards as thin and lightweight as possible. The boards also need to be double-sided. As for the design, the client completely trusted me to decide. The only request was to create something fun that matches my taste. I also asked if he would mind if one board was experimental while the other was more traditional. He gave me a confident yes. The first board will be experimental. The experiment involves gluing an insert into the end grain board that runs all the way through, making it visible from both sides. The insert is made of maple and is not end grain. Its fibers will be oriented perpendicular to the rest of the board. The main goal is to minimize excessive warping during use. As usual, I mark the center and set the z-axis to 0. For the first board, I'll use a design I recently created and have been wanting to bring to life. It's called Chopping Buddies. Initially, the design was made in 2 colors. The idea was to insert maple into walnut. However, after carving the pocket on the board, I thought it would be nice to create the inlay using different types of wood. Fortunately, this design is easy to modify and doesn't require any additional steps. The first one will be a duck, and of course it has to be yellow. For this, I'll use yellow heartwood. I secure the blank, make sure it's firmly in place, and start milling. It turned out super cute. The pig will be made of cherry wood. The chicken will be made of white oak. The words and the cow will be made of white maple. Since I'm using different types of wood that weren't calibrated to the same thickness, I'll start by inlaying the pig first, as the cherry wood is the thinnest. After the pig, I'll inlay the duck. The cow and the chicken will be inlaid together afterward, as the thicknesses of the oak and maple are identical. While the first board is drying, I'll start working on the second one. The blank has already been flattened and includes a juice groove. The second board will be a standard one, without through inlays like in the previous board. The second design is called Skeleton and Grill. Initially, I planned to use only 2 colors, but since I have the freedom to choose and experiment, I decided to create this design using multiple types of wood. By the way, if anyone is interested, both designs are available on my website. Links are in the description. The first inlay will be made using white maple. For both boards, I adjusted the inlay parameters to make it less tight than I usually do. This is because the boards are twice as thin as what I typically make, and a very tight inlay could create additional pressure and cause the board to warp. The first board has dried enough so I can trim the inlay, and the board can continue drying until it becomes flat. I really like how cute this is turning out. The first layer is glued in, and after about 12 hours, I trim the top of the inlay and leave the board to dry further until it's completely flat. While the second board is drying, I can finish the chopping buddies board. This board will have a juice groove on both sides. I like making fairly large and deep juice grooves. In my opinion, they look better and are more functional. For this process, I use a 19mm bit with a groove depth of 7.5mm. The board has finished drying, and I've already cut the pockets for the next inlays. The apron will feature flames made of cherry wood, and part of the flames on the grill, as well as the steak, will also be made of cherry wood. And now it's my favorite part, sanding the board and the juice groove on both sides. While I was sanding the board with the skeleton design dried and is now ready for the final step, trimming the inlay and gluing the last layer made of yellow heartwood. Now I can trim the plug, and I can't wait to apply oil to both boards to see the wood colors come to life. No special comments here, just enjoying the transformation of the wood and checking the quality of the inlays. Everything is simply perfect. Now I soak the skeleton board in oil and check the quality of the inlays. It turned out perfect, just the way I like it. Tight with no glue gaps. Here are the boards, fairly simple, yet, in my opinion, very charming. The client has already received them and is absolutely thrilled. I also made arrangements to stay in touch with him and monitor how the experimental board behaves during use. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and leave a comment. See you soon.